শুনতে পাচ্ছি? হ্যাঁ? আর তোমরা যারা কথা বলতেছো আর এই ব্যক্তিরা আমরা শুনতে পাচ্ছি না। কথা বলতে পারবে না? অনুমান কি বলতো তুমি? বলো কথা বলো।
Yes, sir. Am I audible, Najmul sir? Hello? Hello? Yes, yes, I'm audible. I can Hello?
এটাই জলে রাখা হয়েছে বলে ছোট কথা।
Dr. Dinesh Tandon. We welcome you, ma'am and sir. I would also like to welcome our chief patrons in today's session, Mr. Mohit Chattopadhyay, who is the Vice Chairman of Techno India Group, and Dr. Sudipta Chakravarti, a Deputy Director. Nextly, I would like to welcome our patrons, our Principal Ma'am, Dr. Shravani Roy, our Vice Principal, Sir, and President of IIC, Dr. Najmul Islam, and IIC Coordinator, Mr. Arunava Datta. I would also like to welcome the organizing committee members and also to all the members of IIC and also to the students present in this lecture session. Now, I would like to request our IIC President Najmul sir to address everyone present here in this session.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Thank you. A very good afternoon to all. On behalf of Ramgarh Engineering College, I would like to welcome you all in the Impact Lecture Series organized by IIC REC and funded by MIC AICTE. We are highly delighted to have our experts, Ms. Shiva Khan and Dr. Dinesh Tandon, for this event. The Institute expressed gratitude to them for accepting our invitation and sparing their valuable time. The IIC REC is now become a 4.0 institute, and we are listed by MIC MHRD Government of India to organize the Impact Lecture Series. A total of 645 institutes throughout India are selected for conducting this Impact Lecture. This year, our IIC organized innovation and startup competition for our students, and 4 projects are selected for startup. IIC introduced innovation ecosystem in Ramgarh Engineering College and its surroundings, and we are going to mentor 3 ATL schools. IIC REC also made collaboration with Bosch India and established Youth Employability Skills Center. I would like to congratulate all our IIC team members and hope all participants will enjoy this event. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, sir, for your speech. Firstly, before the starting of the session, I would like to give a brief introduction of our today's Center at Shiv Nada University, experience in strategic management. Nextly, I would like to introduce our second guest, Dr. Dinesh Tandon, who is HOD and Assistant Professor at Chitkara Business School at Chitkara University, Punjab. So now, I would like to request Shiva ma'am to please kindly proceed on in today's session. Thank you, everyone.
Good morning, all of you. It's a pleasure and amazing to have you all for this session. Before beginning my slides and starting the session, I would be happy if I get to know how many of you have either worked on some idea or have some business idea, because slides are more like just basic information. It would be good if I get to know how many of you are interested in setting up their businesses, so that conversation can be taken up in the later phase of the discussion. You can write in the chat box. All right. If you have any business idea, you can write in the chat box. After the basic round of discussions, we can take up some business ideas, discuss on it, what you are doing, how you can do it better. I hope that's clear to everyone. You can also raise your hand or write in the chat box if you have any query. I'll address it as and when, and we can even speak, unmute yourself, and we can talk about your business idea. Okay, let me begin the slides. They are just the basic slides. A lot of things I'll do as more as a talking things, which will be easier for you to understand and get into a business practically. Can you see my screen? Somebody can confirm it.
Yes.
All right, thanks. Okay, so as you know, we currently we should be proud Indians that we are ranking 3rd in the world in the startup ecosystem. We have some very good numbers in comparison to rest of the world for setting up the startup ecosystem. Also, we can see that India's government initiative, be it central or state government, they are trying hard to get more and more startups into the ecosystem. So I'll just throw one question to the audience. You may write in the chat box. Why is startup important for any economy? The answer is within here also. Like, how is startup contributing? You can write in the chat box while I'll continue. Let me get back to each one of you on this as well. Okay, so you can see that India is rising. There are already 100 unicorns, which shows that there is a way ahead for all the youths like you who have joined here. The most of the startups are created within the brackets of 20 to 35, maximum 40. So you have that right age to start. May not be that nobody who's after 40 or 45 can start a startup. Also, you can see the kind of funds which are available, be it from state government or central government, private investors, for angel investors, venture capitalists. Everyone is interested in investing in India. That's an amazing time for youth like you to come up with some good idea. And I would always suggest, unless the idea is good, everything is little far off from you, be it investment or be it the right kind of success. India has already achieved that round of deals, which investments, which is around $3.5 billion, which is a big amount for any country to achieve. India is already contributing with a lot of startups in the economy through their business. Like, a lot of jobs are already created. A lot of self-employment opportunity comes when somebody's already starting a business. He's himself giving a job as well as giving other people around jobs. So any business venture is just not a survival mode for the person who's opening up, but for another 10, 15, or maybe if the business grows 100 or 150 or whatsoever, people will get opportunities to work in that business. This is the startup ecosystem which I was talking, like, you being from the university setup, you also contribute to a lot into the startup ecosystem. How startup ecosystem is created, you can see the quick boxes, like this is journal definition, which is taken up in India, that any research organization which is creating innovative ideas which can be commercialized. Also, there are support organizations like DIE, like NASCOM, Head Start, and many more organizations which are enabling startups and startup in ecosystems to grow. We as an incubation center also come in the same category of facilitating and helping the startups to grow in their journey. So we are the ones who are the next spot for anyone who has some good solutions and want to move ahead in their creation journey of a startup. Great, I got one answer. That's amazing. So this session is more about just putting you into the the information about startup, but unless you will interact, you will put your questions, talk to me, I think it will be more just telling you the basics, which you can even go and study online. All right. So you can see the definition also in the, so I don't know how many of you know that any startup idea, unless recognized by the Startup India and the name has changed now, DPI as a company, which is recognized as startup till 10 years. Like you need to recognize yourself, register your idea, get a recognition from the website, which I have written here, and then only you will be recognized as a startup. And once you are recognized as a startup, you will get a lot more opportunities to avail a lot of grants, a lot of supports from other spheres, be it the schemes, even the investors take you seriously if you are a registered entity with Startup India. So you can see that these are the facilities which are being provided by Startup India. If you are a registered entity, you will definitely get the support of the legal facilities, how to proceed with your taxation, how to go about with a lot of IPR support, how to get some funds, get the support and connections from industry as well as academia or incubators like us. There are a lot of grants and competitions which give you a chance to win some great amount and support. Funds along with strategic support is more important for a startup rather than just an amount. Amount could be a loan from anywhere and anyone can get for a normal business as well. I'll move quickly to the next slide. Central government. So what I was talking about, the support and the lot of encouragement given from various spheres, the government entities. If we are sitting in a state, your state is doing a lot of activities for startup. It's just that you need to figure it out and get that opportunities availed. From the central government's point of view, there are a lot of entities, startups, be it Atal Innovation, be it Startup India, which of course you can go and recognize, avail a lot of grants. There are a lot of schemes for researchers from Department of Science and Technology, which supports you in initial conceptualization of their research idea and later even support for a lot of grants through your prototyping support. Even BIRAC is one of the entities which is supporting to do these activities. State government, as I mentioned, I can directly give you examples of UP government, where we are sitting right now in Greater Noida. If a startup is registered here, that means if they have a registered office and have been registered here in UP and are recognized by the UP government along with one of the incubation centers, they have the opportunity to avail a lot of support, be it the stipend to the founders, be it the funds to the startups, and even supporting your IP. Is there something, are you guys able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So when I talk about Corporate Connect, you can see a lot of things are being done by top MNCs like Google, Facebook, Intel, Microsoft, and even you name it, and they have their innovation labs. So the point is that you need to walk out of your silos, or you have to go out, and if you have a solution, work on it, and there are a lot of ways to help you. I'll also take you through the myths which startups have generally, because every now and then I'll just take you through this. This is more to bring you to a reality, because I come across so many students like you who come and ask me, is the incubator or anything, when the starter words pop in, are you given funds? So this should be a reality, that funds are not the source of beginning your startup. You just need to put a little bit of your capital from your pocket, from your friends, families, and start it off. Believe me, if there is a good startup, you will have no dirt of having the funds. But if your solution is not good enough, it's not easy to avail the funds. And even funds should be your support mechanism rather than just getting a fund doing like people like you are inspired by the stories of Flipkart or big names like Oyo and all that, but they are once in a while. Everyone is not that. There are journal businesses which are running successfully and they are earning crores, but they have honestly worked on a problem solution, providing support to the clients. And there are people running after them to take the funds, but they know that funds and a lot of things are a responsibility. So my point is that don't connect startup with funds only. If you have a good idea, start it off with small amounts. Then there are a lot of means to have that small amount of support, either from the government, from central, state, in a lot of many places you will get that support. But begin it. Do a thoughtful act, do some research, and then jump into that. Also, this is a myth that only unicorns are startups. So these are just the names which are flashing up. There is a valuation which is no startup valuation can never be very much verified unless you raise an IPO. The public gives you a valuation and all that. It's just a myth. So don't go by that. And select your founders who are ready to work with it. So I have put this also that your good friend may be a good friend to you, but may not be a good partner to work with. Select somebody who is adding a value. If you are a management graduate, if you're an engineering graduate, make the opposites match. Get some technical guy with you if you're a management graduate. If you are a technical graduate, get a management guy who's ready to sell. So this mix and match is very important for the founders, and also a great amount of commitment. You may be too much committed to leave everything, your placement, your good job to start a business, but your friend might not be. So find that person who's ready to take that up. Best ages to start a startup is 20 to 30. This is a fact, but it is not. So there are so many founders who have started. If you could go by the female, like Nika was started from a lady which is more senior. So there are a lot of examples. If you have a good idea, you just need to begin it. Start working on it. You will fail, you will rework. So you will not get to know your worth unless you fail and you get back to the work. All right, I'll skip all these. These are not that important. Okay, so the basic question is how to start a business. First and foremost, you should have a great idea. When I say great idea, it's a great solution. It's a solution or a gap which you are providing to a customer. A great idea is only a great idea if there is a customer to buy it. So you should have somebody who is facing that problem and you are solving a problem. So make it a very clear thing. If you think that this is a product and you want to make it, sell it without even considering anybody needs or not. I'll request the audience if you can mute your mics unless you are wanting to speak. Thanks. All right. So I'm talking about the creation of the idea. I'll begin with the same thing, that never think that if I'm creating a product, it will be a success. This is what needed in the market, unless you are sure what you're creating is needed by somebody else. So before even jumping into feeling that this is a great idea, do some homework, do some research, go out to 50, 20, 100 people, just get a questionnaire filled up that I'm trying to create this solution, or I'm trying to create, I'll just take an example of a you're trying to create a pen which a notebook which is easily cleaned up, or you want to make a reusable notebook. So go and search in the market how many people are ready to invest or buy your product. If nobody, like if you get 10, 20 people even to ready to reuse that book, and that's the credibility you got for your product, go ahead, make it. But if you get 80% or 70% people saying, I don't need it, I'll rather buy a notebook again, that means you really need to think over it. Is this required, what you are thinking? The next point, of course, will be to make a team, as I was continuing in the last conversation. Go and hunt that right person who could be your match. It's equally important, like you have to marry a person or find a date which is equally matchable and looks into the same temperament. If you're creating a business, he should have that same temperament and passion to work with you. Also, he should be complementing your business. He should be adding a value to your business. He should be giving some contribution in the form of expertise to your business. You really need to, so all that begins is from the person. So business is all about people, work, operations, all that is followed by the team or the people who are involved with it. Of course, then comes your business plan. People think that business plan is important, and yeah, it is important, but unless a good amount of business research done, your business plan will never be workable. Many good plans happen. You can make the best of plan. You can copy and get into the best of pitches which were successful, got the best of funding. There should be people who are ready to work with you, give you the support. Maybe that one vendor who can give you some raw material to start with your first production or prototyping. So all that you need to really gather and be at one place and align your everything to start that off. Don't think for big offices or big places. Start with small things. Make it a habit that you will be able to do small things to gather. And always remember, the most important person in your whole journey is your customer. Make sure he's happy and you get the best of feedback. Rework on your product. If somebody is saying your product is bad, go and talk to him, what he wants, what is the fault. Your critics will be the most important people in your business. Okay, with this, I'll also take you to the journey of your investment, because there is a lot of confusion that where and what the investments come in. So as I was talking about, this is more about a technology funding, technology venture, because I deal with more of technology ventures. So I'm trying to explain that. You being an engineering college, you have a research or a good innovation which you have done. So look for initial research grants rather than going out for paid for investments or anything else. Work on your idea. Your all focus should be make a robust product, and the product journey start with a good research, building a good prototype, building a good workable, acceptable product for the market. I'll repeat, your product clients are very important, and where the word clients comes in, the product should be in line with clients' requirement. And these are the kind of fundings which you can avail. The first, of course, is the research grants, BST, even METI, a lot of grants from BIRAC. You need to just be a little agile and open your eyes to avail those grants, apply to them at the right time. There are a lot of grants to build your prototype even. Go for it. Build your product. Then, of course, don't look out for investment immediately, because investors, there is no free lunch available. Every investor will come up with their own. Of course, they will take away some stakes in your company. They will also be, you can say, little bosses in your firm. So make sure talk to people before, like, be very, very sure even taking anyone's investment. Best are your friends, family. Take loans, take small amounts. Be ethical, return it back, or make them your partners. Then there are a lot of other investments, and I think this is a long discussion. We can skip it, and maybe somebody's in that stage, we can take that up. I think that's it. This is more about your development of the product, which is very important. I have written also the steps involved in how to register your startup in Startup India. With this, I'll just end the slides here, and the forum is open for questions. As I said in my previous discussion, I would be happy if somebody puts their question in the chat box. I'm also happy to speak to people who would like to discuss their business idea, because these kind of discussions and sessions may go on and on, but they become interactive and are worthy if there is a question, there is a query which I can address, and you really have that solution ahead. So I have this first question in my chat box. There is so many significance of startup. Firstly, it will create employment. Yes, very good. Secondly, it will grow overall GDP and economy of a country. Absolutely right. So employment is the most critical factor. You very well know, your minds must have started working if, like, thinking about your prospects. If you are in the 4th year of your engineering, what next for me? Where will I be placed? You must be started applying for various jobs. So jobs has been very, very important or critical aspects for any of the person in, like, anywhere in the world. But yeah, India is been facing a lot of challenges. Is there any question from the audience which I can address? So none of you, can I have some people who have already worked on some business idea? Can I have their hands raised, or they in the chat box, or unmute themselves, talk to us, tell us something what they've done? Okay, I think there are not many questions. Anurava, I think I'm done with it. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to address. Otherwise, most of my sessions have been done. If there are any queries, I'll be more than happy to take it later also.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Hello, ma'am. I think there is no question in chat box, so please you can carry on.
Yeah, so I think there are no more questions. If there is any question, you can send that to me. Maybe I can see something here. Sources and middles.
Yes, one
what
question.
kind of startups should be there? Okay. So Priyanka, I think that's amazing. If you can work on the, so again, this is these are rich resources. These are something will be unique. So you need to find out, I don't think within Jharkhand, people will be interested in the minerals and things. Figure it out, maybe in India itself, what is not available in other states. You need to identify the opportunity. So startup is all about identification of the opportunity. You've already nailed it, that there are minerals and the state is rich in it. So you need to figure it out where which all of the states are lagging behind. Start off with small thing. And when you say resources in minerals, if you could be specific, start one resource or something which is usable for the people of maybe your state may not be able to use the way they should. Maybe create a service or a product out of it, a product which is converting your resources and minerals into a usable product. So there are a lot of raw things available. Many states, maybe your state may be rich in a lot of natural resources, but you need to convert in this everything into usable. So the mineral water and everything came in picture when people started bottling it up. So many people are going ahead. Yeah, tea business. So I think there are so many things which you can do. So tea business, you name it, and people, of course, coffee is one of the favorites for many, but tea lovers are immense in the world. So if you have the best of tea, you are done with it. Little innovation or uniqueness you have to bring into your tea. I'll not suggest that go ahead, do the same tea business which rest of the world is doing. You will not be successful. Figure it out how you can differentiate. Maybe an organic tea, maybe something which is not available elsewhere easily. Maybe you're catering to some one cafe which is in some flavors or something. You need to figure out the uniqueness which you can pack, the value added service, because there are already big established players like Brook Bond and so many Tata and all the big players are there in the tea business. Every product need to have that value addition or figure out that unique customers which are ready to pay for your tea. So you need to present it in a different way. Maybe flavors, maybe packaging, maybe the origin of the tea. Your tea could be the organic one. Maybe people are waiting to have those organic rich tea, green tea so much in trend. How could you make tea as a good mix of something in weight loss, because everyone is in a high challenge to maintain their health while working in offices. So you can create some amazing tea which could be add-on to a weight loss. Coal business. Okay, so coal is pretty raw stuff. You need to figure it out how you can package it and make it little innovative. There are places where people are willing to use it. I'm not well versed with the uses of coal, but in general terms, I can suggest that you need to figure out the uniqueness of packaging and portraying this coal also. So it could be a B2B business if it's in huge form. Coal is it's a traditional business thing. So if you want to have some uniqueness to it, I could see Amazon selling coal these days. So people who want to do barbecue at homes, they need coal. So you need to figure out how you can make it more innovative. Any more questions? By the way, there are a lot of things which your state might be missing. There could be a lot of things which are there in the metros, places which you feel that it's missing in your state. So best is that just look around for the problems which your journal people are facing. Look around for a solution. Okay, so somebody again unmuted. So, look around for your solutions which your people around you, your family, friends, your neighbors. There could be a grave problem which is unique to your locality, which is unique to your state, which might not be elsewhere. Replicate that situation in some other state. How are they solving it? You just need to rework on the business model, the business processes, because every state, every country has their institutional context word which we use, that their issues and their problems are very unique to them. Figure that out, how you can bring those best practices or solutions to your hometown, to your city, to your state, and get that solved. It could be very minor problems, which could be, I can see that you are rich on resources, it's getting wasted. Figure it out how you can make best use of it. Internet, the mobility, the transport mechanism is so immense right now. You can do anything. You can go and participate into various state competitions, presenting your state solutions, businesses from your state. I think Maharashtra before COVID did an amazing competition for all the states. There are a lot of events happening in every state, and even government from the center is doing a lot of events. So try to pick those solutions, go and pitch it there. You will get some more ideas, because people will tell you, okay, I don't need this kind of a thing, but if you would have done this to this product, I would have taken it. So always go out and discuss about your businesses. Go out and talk about it. Don't think that, don't be thinking that like people have this. I have come across so many technical ones and even normal citizens.
Hello.
If I discuss with someone,
Hello,
my
ma'am.
idea would be like
Hello, ma'am.
take away. Yeah.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
मैम माय क्वेश्चन मैम कि मैं स्टार्टअप करना चाहता हूँ, किस चीज का स्टार्टअप मैं शुरू से करूँ, मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा, पर बिजनेस के लिए सोचा हूँ।
आपका कोर्स कौन सा है? आप इस वक्त क्या पढ़ रहे हैं?
इलेक्ट्रॉनिक एंड कम्युनिकेशन इंजीनियरिंग।
आपने कोई प्रोजेक्ट किया है किसी के साथ, किसी प्रोफेसर के साथ, कोई रिसर्च प्रोजेक्ट?
रिपीट क्वेश्चन मैम, रिपीट।
आपने कोई प्रोजेक्ट अपने सेमेस्टर में कोई प्रोजेक्ट या कुछ प्रैक्टिकल प्रोजेक्ट किया है जिसमें आप कोई प्रोडक्ट या कोई चीज बिल्ड करी आपने? जैसे आप इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स से हैं तो आईओटी डिवाइसेस होती हैं, कुछ लोग रोबोटिक्स पे काम करते हैं, कुछ ड्रोन्स पे काम करते हैं। आपने कुछ ऐसा काम किया है?
नो मैम, आई एम नो प्रोजेक्ट।
आपका शुभ नाम? हेलो,
मिस्टर अभिजीत कुमार रंजन।
ओके रंजन जी, आप सबसे पहले देखिए, मैंने अपना जो पीपीटी में एक स्लाइड था ना, बिजनेस कैसे बनाते हैं, तो आप पहले ये देखिए कि आपको सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम किस चीज में आ रही है। सबसे पहले तो इंसान खुद की प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने में एक बहुत अच्छा बिजनेस बना लेता है। आप बहुत सारे बिजनेस लीडर्स और फाउंडर्स की स्टोरीज सुनिए तो उनकी जो जर्नी होती है, जो उन्होंने अपनी शुरुआत करी होती है, वो इसी बात से शुरू किया होता है कि उनकी कोई एक बहुत मेजर प्रॉब्लम थी। अभी हमारे क्लास कॉलेज में एक बच्ची है, उसके घर में उसने भी शुरू किया, एमबीए की स्टूडेंट है। उसकी एग्जैक्ट लोकेशन मुझे नहीं पता, वहाँ पे एक फेमस मंदिर है, लोग मंदिर पे आते हैं
यस
और
मैम।
उनकी जो 50 किलो लड्डू चढ़ाते हैं, अब वो वापस उन्हें घर भी ले जाने हैं, थोड़े बांटने भी हैं, थोड़े रिश्तेदारों में भी पहुंचाने हैं।
यस मैम।
ये देखा कि ये तो बहुत अच्छा, मतलब उसको ये, लोगों को ये परेशानी लगी, बट उसको ये परेशानी के साथ एक अपॉर्चुनिटी लगी। उसने अपने रिश्तेदारों के साथ मिलकर एक वहीं पर गेट पे ही एक रजिस्ट्रेशन डेस्क, और उसके बाद अब उसने ऑनलाइन भी बना लिया है कि आप जाइए, बताइए कि आपको 50 किलो लड्डू चाहिए, आपका चढ़ावा चढ़ जाएगा, उसके बाद आधे आपके घर पहुंच जाएंगे, बाकी आपके रिश्तेदारों में पहुंच जाएंगे, और जो और बांटने हैं बढ़ जाएंगे। तो उसने इस परेशानी को एक अपॉर्चुनिटी बना लिया, वो बिजनेस बन गया। तो आपको बस थोड़ी सी आंखें खुली रखनी है कि आप किस चीज में अच्छे हैं, क्या चीज आप बेटर कर सकते हैं। मेरा तो ये सुझाव होगा, पहले थोड़े दिन जॉब करिए और किसी स्टार्टअप के साथ जॉब करिए, थोड़े दिन आप उनका लाइफस्टाइल देखिए। जब आप किसी स्टार्टअप के साथ जॉब करेंगे तो आपको बहुत सारी चीजें मिलेगी। एस्टैब्लिश ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में आप जाएंगे, आपको एक डेस्क और एक स्पेसिफिक काम दे दिया जाएगा, मगर जब आप स्टार्टअप के साथ काम करेंगे, आपको बहुत सारी, हम एक टर्मिनोलॉजी यूज करते हैं, क्रॉस ओवर वर्क, आपको बहुत सारे काम ऐसे करवाए जाएंगे जो एक प्रोफाइल में नहीं होंगे। फिर आपको समझ में आएगा कि आपको कैसे करना है। स्टार्टअप बिजनेस सोचना और करने में बहुत फर्क है। आपको एक कमिटमेंट लाना पड़ता है, और अगर आप किसी के पास जाएंगे ये कहने के लिए कि मुझे आइडिया बता दो, मैं बिजनेस करना चाहता हूँ,
यस मैम।
वो बिजनेस कभी नहीं हो पाएगा। आप किसी के पार्टनर बन सकते हैं। अगर आपको खुद बिजनेस करना है तो थोड़ा सा आप पढ़िए, थोड़ा सा ये देखिए कहाँ पे किस चीज का गैप है, कौन सी चीज आपकी लोकेलिटी में, क्या पता आपकी लोकेलिटी में किसी एक चीज की सप्लाई ना हो रही हो, आपके कॉलेज में कोई चीज की कमी हो, कोई ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म नहीं है कि बच्चे सेकेंड हैंड चीजें बेच पाए। बहुत सारी चीजें, आप छोटे से किसी एक्सपेरिमेंट और प्रोजेक्ट से शुरू करिए, किसी एक छोटे से काम को करके देखिए, मजा भी आएगा, एक्सपीरियंस भी होगा, और उसको पूरा कंप्लीट करिए। कोई सामान यहाँ से, मतलब जहाँ से भी आप खरीदिए या कुछ करिए, उसको पूरा कंप्लीट करके देखिए, थोड़ा सा प्रॉफिट कमाइए, एक्सपेरिमेंट्स करिए। कोई भी रातों रात बिजनेस बड़ा नहीं हो जाता है ना। आप ये आज सोचेंगे बिजनेस करना है, कल आप शुरू करती हैं, आपको थोड़ा सोचना पड़ेगा, थोड़ी दिन जॉब करिए, थोड़े से छोटी छोटी चीजें करके देखिए।
हेलो मैम। हेलो मैम।
पार्टनरशिप।
हेलो मैम। जी मैम, मैं बैक हिस्ट्री देखा हूँ, काफी देखता हूँ और आज भी देखता हूँ। ये एमबीए चाय वाला प्रफुल्ल बिलोरे है ना? हेलो।
जी जी, मैं सुन रही हूँ, आप बोलिए।
मिस्टर प्रफुल्ल बिलोरे चाय वाले जो है, उनका भी बैक हिस्ट्री गजब का है, और वो भी अपना जब स्टार्टअप किए थे तो स्टार्टिंग दिन वो 30 कप चाय मतलब 30 कप चाय बेचे थे, तो एक कप का चाय का कीमत उनका 20 रुपीज था, तो समथिंग से 600 हुई। तो उस टाइप का उनका स्टार्टअप देखा मैंने।
हाँ, जो रंजन जी नाम है ना आपका, या रजनीश है? सॉरी, मैं आपका नाम थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूज है। आप स्क्रीन ऑन भी कर सकते हैं अपना। तो आप ये जो स्टोरीज होती है काफी काफी मोटिवेटिंग, इंस्पायरिंग होती है, और बिल्कुल आपको ये रियलिटी भी बताएंगी कि कोई रातों रात अमीर नहीं बन जाता, और हर बिजनेस में लोग अमीर बनने के लिए अगर आप बिजनेस करना चाहते हैं
यस
तो वो
मैम,
गलत अप्रोच है।
सही बात।
तो आपको छोटी सी चीज से शुरू करना पड़ेगा। चाय भी उन्होंने शुरू करी होगी तो चाय की उन्होंने पहले से गैप देखा होगा कि भाई एक मेरा लोकल चाय वाला था और एक मेरी चाय कोई भी क्यों पिएगा, मिस्टर रंजन जाके
जी
उनकी चाय क्यों पिएंगे? उनको वो डिफरेंशियल फैक्टर लाना पड़ेगा, वो अलग सी यूनिक, जिसे आप कहते हैं अलग बात लानी पड़ेगी ना अपने बिजनेस में। या तो वहां पे चाय वाला ही ना हो कोई आपकी लोकेलिटी में, तो बात ठीक है भाई, आपकी चाय बिकने लगेगी। हर लोकेलिटी में एक चाय वाला होता है, तो लोग आपकी चाय क्यों लेंगे? तो उन्होंने
जी
ये
मैम,
देखा होगा कि भाई उनकी चाय बेटर पैक्ड होकर ऑफिस में पहुंच सकती है, उसके साथ एक स्नैक्स भी पहुंच सकता है, और उसमें बहुत तरह के फ्लेवर और क्वालिटी मेंटेन। बिजनेस में क्वालिटी और अपने क्लाइंट का ट्रस्ट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है। आज आप एक चाय की बात ले लीजिए, आप किसी जगह पे एक बार चाय पीने उतरेंगे और खराब चाय होगी, आप याद रखेंगे कि यहाँ चाय नहीं पीना, अच्छी नहीं। और अगर किसी दिन अच्छी होगी और आप हाईवे पे जा रहे हैं, आप टाइम निकाल कर रास्ते में उस जगह पे रुकेंगे कि चाय हम फलां ढाबे पे ही पियेंगे क्योंकि यहाँ की चाय बहुत अच्छी होती है। तो ये सारी बातें ना, देखिए बहुत जरूरी नहीं है कि आप बड़ा सा एक रोबोट या ड्रोन बनाएं और तभी आपका बिजनेस सक्सेसफुल होगा और वही बिजनेस है और उसी को कोई रिकग्निशन देगा। लाइफस्टाइल बिजनेसेस बहुत पॉपुलर हैं और बहुत इफेक्टिव हैं और वर्कबल है। आप छोटी सी चीज से शुरू करिए जो आपकी लोकेलिटी में। मैं तो टेक्निकल यूनिवर्सिटी से अटैच्ड हूँ, तो मैं कह सकती हूँ कि भाई ये टेक्नोलॉजी है सब, बट प्रैक्टिकली हर बिजनेस इम्पोर्टेंट है। हर घर में खाना पहुंचना है, हर घर की एक नॉर्मल सी रिक्वायरमेंट है। लॉन्ड्री की भी रिक्वायरमेंट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। प्रेस वाला भी उतना ही इम्पोर्टेंट है एक लोकेलिटी में जितना कि आपका ग्रोसरी वाला है और केबल वाला है। हर चीज में एक आपको थोड़ा सा आंखें खोल के देखना पड़ेगा कि क्या चीज कहाँ पे ऐसी है जो मैं कर सकता हूँ, जो मैं सप्लाई कर सकता हूँ, जिसका मैं बिजनेस शुरू कर सकता हूँ। ठीक है, थोड़े दिन बिजनेस नहीं चलेगा, समझिएगा, ये याद रखिएगा कि उसको फिर से स्टार्ट करना है या उसको चेंज करने की हिम्मत रखिएगा अगर कोई कह रहा है कि आपकी सर्विस ऐसी है, ऐसी होनी चाहिए या ये सही नहीं। ठीक है जी। एनीबडी एल्स? और किसी को कोई क्वेरी है? और एक और बात है, अपने बिजनेस को हमेशा सबके साथ डिस्कस करिए। क्या पता वो पांचवा इंसान, हाँ, अपने आप 5 बिजनेस प्लान बनाइए, 10 बनाइए, 20 बनाइए, 5 हर महीने बनाइए और देखिए उसको बिल्कुल एंड तक ले जाइए। रिसर्च करिए उस पर, देखिए कि अगर मुझे इसको कल स्टार्ट करना पड़ा तो मुझे क्या चाहिए, कितने पैसे चाहिए, कहाँ पे ऑफिस होगा, कौन लोग चाहिए, कहाँ से सप्लाई होगी। जब आप उसको पूरी चेन को कंप्लीट करेंगे ना, इनपुट प्रोसेस आउटपुट, तो आपको रियलिटी समझ में आएगी कि मैं ये कर सकता हूँ कि नहीं कर सकता हूँ। चलो इसको छोड़ो, दूसरे पे जाते हैं। जब तक आप
सॉरी
डेमो
सॉरी मैम, रिपीट क्वेश्चन। सॉरी मैम, नहीं सुन पाया था।
अच्छा, मैं ये कह रही हूँ कि आपको हर बिजनेस प्लान के लिए हर महीने उस पर काम करना पड़ेगा। वर्बली
यस
जो
मैम।
लोग बातें करते हैं ना, वो कभी बिजनेस स्टार्ट नहीं कर पाते। बैठ के प्लान बनाइए, हर चीज का कैलकुलेशन करिए। अगर आपको कोई प्रोडक्ट भी बनाना है या कहीं से सप्लाई भी लेनी है और उसको वापस से बेचना है, कैलकुलेशन करिए, उसको एंड टू एंड देखिए कि आपका वेंडर कौन होगा, सप्लायर कौन होगा, क्लाइंट कौन होगा, बेचेंगे कहाँ से, खरीदेंगे कहाँ से। तो आप उसको प्रैक्टिकली करिए, तभी आप कुछ 4 बार फेल होंगे, 5वीं बार चल जाएगा। बिलीव मी, कोई भी एफर्ट्स अगर किसी चीज में आप लगाएंगे ना दिल से, तो चल ही जाता है वो। ये एक थ्योरी भी है, थंब रूल है, 5 साल के बाद हर बिजनेस सक्सेसफुल हो जाता है अगर आपने सही बिजनेस किया हो और आप क्वालिटी प्रोडक्ट दे रहे हो। और किसी को कोई सवाल है? देखिए इस तरह के डिस्कशन में ही मजा आता है। सेशंस तो हो गए, स्लाइड्स भी चला लिए, अब तो any questions, anything, I'll be happy to address. By the way, Shivnada University runs a business incubation center which is located in Delhi NCR. We are located in Greater Noida. We support a lot of technology backed hardware startups. So if anybody is working on some hardware, IoT, robotics, drones, and all these things, we'll be happy to discuss. So that's something I can offer you and open for discussions. Anuragha ji, I think हम लोग के questions भी हो गए. We can end the session. If there is any more question, I'll be happy to address in between also. I'll be around.
Yes, just a minute, ma'am. Just ask to audience if there is any question, then otherwise we will end this session. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Just a minute.
Students, if you have any questions, please ask. If any queries are having, ask now only. If you want to ask in Hindi also, students, you can ask.
बिल्कुल, मुझे तो आदत है अंग्रेजी में बोलने की, इसलिए मैं बोल रही थी. मैं हिंदी में भी उसी तरह अच्छी तरह बात कर सकती हूँ. आप बेफिक्र होके अपनी बात को कहने के लिए कभी ये मत सोचा करिए मुझे अंग्रेजी नहीं आती तो मैं बात नहीं कर पाऊंगा. प्लीज.
Students, do you have any questions? I think so, ma'am. They don't have any more questions.
Thank you so much. It was pleasure being here. I'm around. If there is any questions later also, you can connect me. I'll be there.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am, for giving such an amazing lecture and making discussion on this topic and facilitating a positive learning environment also. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. Take care.
Now I would like to request Dinesh sir to please proceed on in today's lecture session.
Hello and good morning all. Thank you ma'am for inviting me over here, and I hope that everybody is doing fine at their respective places. So just now Shiva ma'am was delivering a great talk on the startup ecosystem in India, and I hope that you might have learned a lot, and that particularly sets the right base for me to take the things forward. So today, we have gathered here to discuss about one of the major ingredient for economic growth and development in today's era, that is IPRs, intellectual property rights. You see, if you see the composition of your GDP, the major contribution in the GDP is being made by the service sector. And when we talk about the service sector, the major role which is being played, it is being played by the intellect. Idea, some intellectual material, some design, whatsoever you call it, that can be given a legal shape. You can wholly and solely claim right onto that. So the topic in itself conveys intellectual property rights. Something which originates, something which comes out of your mind, something which comes out from your brain, that is your property. If it is unique enough in the eyes of the law, they will grant you exclusive rights onto the creation which emerges out of your mind. Maybe you might have composed a wonderful song. You want this particular song to be given a copyright in your name so that others cannot cheat it, so that others cannot copy it. So there is a provision in the law that that particular thing, that particular intellect, that particular beautiful creation will be imbibed with your name in the eyes of law, and you will enjoy the exclusive rights, economic or whatsoever, onto that particular creation in your name. So today the agenda is going to be the discussion on intellectual property rights. I'll just be sharing my screen. I hope that everybody can see my screen. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
thank you. Thank you so much for the
Please
confirmation.
make it full screen, sir. Then we'll see better.
Okay, no issues. Is it fine? Is it a full
Yes, sir.
screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Fine.
Okay, now agenda, like I told you, is going to be the intellectual property rights. Now, what do you understand by intellectual property rights? So, intellectual property refers to the creation of mind. I just briefed you about that. Whatsoever comes out of your intellect, everything from the works of art to inventions, computer programs to trademarks and other commercial science. Windows is the exclusive work of Microsoft. So they have the intellectual property right onto that. I just told you that if you're creating a wonderful song, so you can take the property right onto the same. If you're creating some literary work, you're writing a beautiful poem and that is your own original work, you can claim a right onto that. Law gives you the provision to get it registered in your name so that others cannot copy it, others cannot steal it. IP covers a vast range of activities and play an important role in both cultural and economic life. This importance is recognized by various laws which protect intellectual property rights. Intellectual property laws are complicated. There are different laws relating to different types of IPs and different national laws in different countries and regions of the world as well as international laws. So this is complete conundrum where you will find that many different laws are there. A state may be having different law relating to intellectual property. At national level, you may have different law. At international level, you may have different law relating to the same, what we call as intellectual property. Now, why does IP matters? Why does intellectual property matters a lot? The first and the foremost is the progress and well-being of humanity depends on our capacity to come up with new ideas and creations. Technological progress requires the development and application of new inventions, while a vibrant culture will constantly seek new ways to express itself. So creativity and inventiveness is what keeps the thing moving. Change is the most permanent thing of the world. Human beings cannot remain static. All the time your brain keeps on working in some direction and you always keep on searching for something new. And this newness, this creativity, this inventiveness makes IP rights, make IP laws, make IP rights a very, very important issue in today's world. You might have seen lot many applications in your mobile phone. Those who are creating those applications, what they are basically doing, they are creating intellectual property. They are doing some kind of a creativity. There are many games which are coming up. There are many softwares which are coming up. iOS is there of Apple, Android is of Google. How do you come to know about that? What if I start using Android in my phone? I can't do it as a businessman because that particular intellectual property is with Google. So I have to purchase their property and only then I can use it, or I will have to pay some commercial value to them. Only then I will be able to make the use of the same. Intellectual property rights are also very vital. Inventors, artists, scientists, and businesses put a lot of time, money, and energy thought into developing their innovations and creations. If you are creating intellectual property, it's not a one-day job. There are research labs. There are research divisions. There are R&D centers of these big giants. Now over there, they spend time, money, and energy to create these intellectual property rights. And to encourage them to do so, they need the chance to make a fair return on their investment. That means giving them right to protect their intellectual property. Now, if you see over here, if I talk about IPRs, this particular diagram will explain you that how you can classify the different intellectual property rights. First is called as tangibles and second is called as intangibles. Now, what are tangibles? Tangibles again are movable and immovable. The things which you can touch and see. So if you are coming up with a new car, so that particular car can be your property. If I talk about Scorpio, Scorpio is the exclusive property of Mahindra. If I talk about Grand Vitara, which is a newly launched vehicle by Maruti, that is a movable property and Maruti Suzuki is exclusively having the property rights onto that. If tomorrow, Hyundai starts making Grand Vitara and try to sell it into the market, they won't be able to do it. Law is not going to allow them to do so. Why? Because the other company, which is Maruti Suzuki, they are having intellectual property rights onto that particular car. Immovable also. Building is one such example of immovable property. So on immovable things also, you can get the property rights registered in your name. The second is intangible, which you cannot touch, see. Fine. Intellectual property is basically of two types. One is called as industrial property related. And second is called as copyright related. Our major focus is going to be on industrial property related. And this is basically of four types, which we are going to discuss one by one as we move ahead into the session. One is called as patent. One is called as design. And sometimes it is also called as industrial designs. One is called as trademarks. And one is called as GIs, which are geographical indications. And the fifth one, which we are going to discuss in detail, is called as copyright. So you have to keep this thing into mind that intellectual property is always intangible. So if something is tangible, that doesn't come under intellectual property rights. And you can see there is a significance of the right hand side, which is intellectual property, because one particular item, it deals with industrial property related. If tomorrow some company is coming up with their new medicine into the market, during the COVID time, AstraZeneca and Oxford, they came up with a vaccine. So that vaccine is again an intellectual property. They might be having a patent onto that. They might be having certain formula and they might have patented that formula so that no other company can copy the same. And if other company wants to use that, they have to take the permission from Oxford and AstraZeneca. Similarly, SSI, Serum Institute of India, they also came up with their vaccine. So again, they might have taken the patent of that vaccine so that other companies cannot copy that. And if they want to use it, they will have to take the permission. They will have to give some royalty or commercial value to the inventor, which is Serum Institute of India, for making the use of that particular vaccine. Any queries so far, please? You can ask me. Only then afterwards I will be moving. This is very important because you all people belong to the technical background, and in technical background, you will be inventing something. You are going to do coding, you are going to generate apps, you are going to create programs, and to make sure that those programs doesn't get steal by somebody else, doesn't get copied by somebody else, you need to pay attention to this. You need to know the legal procedure of getting that particular property which you are creating in your name. Knowledge is a must. Any queries so far, please, you can ask me. Shall I move ahead, please? If no queries there. Yes, please. Now, we have already discussed that what is basically an IPR. So with the ever-changing technology and shrinking world boundaries, the term intellectual property is coming to be used more often than ever. From tech companies such as Samsung, Apple, Google to biotechnology enterprises such as Monsanto, everyone is vigilant about protecting their intellectual property. Therefore, it becomes important to understand what intellectual property is, what are the rights that individuals acquire as their intellectual property rights. Now, intellectual property right, again, we have discussed that it refers to the creation made using mental skills of the individual. This includes a variety of creations such as literary work, technological inventions, performances, traditional practices, etc. These can be broadly divided into two categories. So intellectual property for protecting industrial inventions, patents, trademarks, geographical indications. We have already discussed that into the previous slide, and one is the copyright related. Fine. So each individual who creates a literary work or invents an industrial technology is vested with create certain rights, such as the exclusive right to such literature or invention, right to gain monetary benefits from such intellectual property right. All such rights that accrue to a person from the creation of intellectual property are known as intellectual property rights. So if something is emerging out of your mental, if something is emerging out of your mind that is unique, there is some element of creativity, there is some element of inventiveness into that, you can definitely get that particular thing registered into your name, and you have the exclusive right to gain monetary and commercial benefits out of that intellectual property. Clear? Fine. Now, what are the features? So the number one is that exclusive rights given to a person over the creation of their mind for certain period of time. Exclusive means to say only you can enjoy it. It is not journalized. And these are given to a person. And the last line is very important, where these are given for a certain period of time. Like if you are getting a patent registered by your name, you will be enjoying the right for 20 years. After that, it will go to the public domain. It will give you a legal right. So whenever you are creating an intellectual property, for example, you are creating a book, you might be referring so many books as a literature in your course. You might see that these are the exclusive rights of the publishers. So it is giving the publisher exclusive right that they can sell this book. If the other publisher will try to sell that book, they will have to take the permission from the others. So what authors do, these authors, they give the copyright to the publisher to sell their work to the students so that they can read and expand their knowledge base. And we have discussed that intellectual property is always intangible, which you cannot touch and see. And when you get the IPR, you get the monopolized rights onto that. Means to say somebody else won't be able to make a copy of it, will be able to derive some commercial and monetary benefit of it. It also gives you the positive rights in the sense that you get the monetary and commercial value. Secondly, it gives you the negative right, which means it will restrict and restrain the other persons not to use your creation. If they will do, they will be violating the law and you can file a suit against them. So these 5 IPRs are going to be the agenda for the discussion. The number one is going to be patents. Now, what basically a patent is? Patent basically is an invention of what? Products, processes, material, and compositions. So if you are developing a new product, for example, I'm coming up with a new phone, which is foldable. I'm coming up with a new phone, which is having screen on both the sides. I'm coming up with a device, which is, which is using artificial intelligence. So I can get that thing patented by my name. Tesla is famous for what? Tesla is famous for their EV vehicles, electronic vehicles. So whensoever, they come up with a new vehicle, what they do? They get that particular car registered, they get that particular car patented in their name so that others cannot copy it, others cannot make it. Fine. You might, for example, there is already a procedure of how to, extract the liquor. Now, for example, tomorrow you come up with a new method of making the liquor or making some, medicine, whatsoever it is. So if a process is unique, for example, getting cement out of limestone, there is a process, and tomorrow you come up with a unique process through which you extract the cement through processing the limestone. So that particular process can also be patented. Some new materials, some new compositions, you're mixing 2 things and coming up with a unique third one, you can definitely get the composition of this. So this particular composition can be patented. Industrial designs. external features appealing to the eye. Maybe you might have seen a cork bottle. पेप्सी की बॉटल आपने देखी होगी, उसकी शेप है, एक यूनिक शेप है, तो आप उस डिजाइन को क्या करवा सकते हो, पेटेंट करवा सकते हो. Getting my thing or not? Something very unique as an industrial design. Maybe some mold is there through which you are making something. So that industrial design can also be patented. New shape, pattern, or configurations, trademarks. You might have seen, a symbol of Apple, logo of Apple. A slogan is there, McDonald's, I'm loving it. So that also comes under the trademark. Copyrights are also there. If you're creating some literary work, some music, some drama is being created, some painting is being created, some poem is being written, some movie is being created by you. Geographical indications are there. Like you might have heard Laddu of Tirupati Balaji. So that particular Laddu is famous in Tirupati only. So this geographical indication can also be taken as an intellectual property right. Pashmina shawl, that is also a geographical indication. Fine. Italian marble, so that is also a geographical indication thing. Darjeeling tea, so that is also a geographical indication which you can get as an intellectual property. Fine. So if you want to get the intellectual property registered in your name, so in India we have a legal setup which comes under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. In Ministry of Commerce and Industry, there is a department called as Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion. Under Department of Industry Policy and Promotion, there is a body called as Controller General of Patents, Designs and Trademarks. So this particular body is responsible for granting patents in India. And they have further divisions like Patent and Design Office. We have 4 patent and design offices in India. These are at Kolkata, Delhi, Mumbai, and Chennai. Then again, we have a trademark registry offices. So these all are available at Mumbai, Kolkata, Delhi, Chennai, and Ahmedabad. Geographical indication registries available in Chennai. Now, patent information systems are also there. This is Rajiv Gandhi National Institute for Intellectual Property Management, which gives you exclusive training, and those examiners, those who want to train themselves in the in the examination of trademarks, patents, design, or geographical indications. So this body, it provides training facilities to all those people. From time to time, they keep on coming up with small courses. They keep on coming up with new workshop proposals, which every organization can take benefit of, and every student can definitely get a certificate course from them that yes, they have done so and so credit or so hours of course from this Controller General of Patent, Design and Trade, which takes care of RG, NNI, PS. Now, this is something very informative for all of us. Now, we were discussing it time and again that when you apply for some intellectual property, the validity period is fixed in all these cases. Now, for example, if you get the patent registered in your name, the maximum protection which will be given to you is of 20 years. And every year you have to mandatorily do the renewals as per the Patent Act 1970 and which was amended in 2005. Now, if you are getting IPR of trademark, it is lifelong given to you. But again, you need to renew it after 10 years. You might have seen so many brands in India. Britannia का अपना एक लोगो है, वेरका का अपना एक लोगो है, ब्रुक बॉन्ड का अपना एक लोगो है, ताजमहल का अपना एक लोगो है. तो ये सारे क्या है? Basically, these all are trademarks. You can have your own trademark and get it registered from the body, which we have discussed right now, trademarks registry. And the exclusive right is given to you for lifelong. But again, you need to renew it by paying the renewal fee after every 10 years. Then is the design. Now, designs are basically for 15 years. Like if you can see the shape of the iPhone. So that is basically a design. Foldable phone. If you're coming up with a foldable phone, that is also a design. For that particular design, the maximum protection for the IPR is given for 15 years, and you have to renew it after 10 years for next 5 years. And in case of copyright, the protection is given for 60 years. In certain countries, it is for 70 years, and in certain countries, it is for 50 years. But in India, the copyright protection is given for 60 years. And geographical indication is again for lifelong. You have to get it renewed after every 10 years. And this also comes under the Geographical Indications of Goods Registration and Protection Act 1990. Now we'll show you the example of a Coke bottle, so that whatever we are talking in terms of IPR, you can get the idea of that what I'm talking about. Now you can see there is a picture of Coke bottle onto your screen. I am sure that everybody might have savored this drink now or then. Now the logo Coca-Cola is an example of trademark. This white thing which is written on the bottle, this is the logo. And when Coca-Cola will get it registered under the IPR, they will get what? They will get the trademark. So nobody else will be able to write Coca-Cola on their drink. Now you can see this is the shape of the bottle. Now this shape of the bottle is what? This is an industrial design. This similar kind of a bottle cannot be produced without taking permission from Coca-Cola. If you want to get the patent, what you basically need to do? Maybe the machine in which these bottles are being manufactured, or the machine in which ये कोक जो है बॉटल्स में फिल किया जाता है जिस मशीन से, उस मशीन का आप क्या ले सकते हो? पेटेंट. If you yourself is inventing, अगर आपने वो खुद मशीन इन्वेंट की है जो इन बॉटल्स में ड्रिंक को फिल करती है, तो उस मशीन का, उस बॉटलिंग इक्विपमेंट का आप पेटेंट ले सकते हो. कॉपीराइट किसका लिया जा सकता है? आप मान लो कोको कोला ने अपनी एक वेबसाइट बनाई हुई है, उस वेबसाइट के अंदर कुछ डिजाइन डाला होगा, है ना, कुछ आर्टिस्टिक वर्क किया होगा, कुछ कलर्स यूज किए होंगे, कुछ इंफॉर्मेशन डाली होगी, तो वो सारी वेबसाइट का, जिसको हम एक आर्टिस्टिक वर्क कह सकते हैं, उसका आप क्या ले सकते हो? कॉपीराइट. अगर आप किसी भी बैंक की या किसी भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की वेबसाइट को ओपन करोगे, तो उसके बॉटम में आप देखोगे नीचे लिखा होगा कॉपीराइट. दैट मीन्स उस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ने उस वेबसाइट का कॉपीराइट ले रखा. Right? Clear? So A single product can be protected by more than one IPR. तो एक प्रोडक्ट के अंदर भी बहुत सारे IPRs हो सकते हैं। ये जरूरी नहीं है कि आपने एक प्रोडक्ट क्रिएट किया है तो उसका ही पेटेंट, उसका सिर्फ पेटेंट ही मिलेगा, नहीं। उसका आप ट्रेडमार्क भी ले सकते हो, कॉपीराइट भी ले सकते हो, whatsoever you wanted you can apply. Again you have to satisfy the authorities with all the formalities and you have to prove that whatever you are claiming is right and totally up to you. ये कुछ IPRs हैं, मैंने एग्जांपल लिया होगा। ये देखो एप्पल का लोगो है, ये ट्रेडमार्क है। ये कोल्हापुरी चप्पल, आपने कई बार मूवीज में भी डायलॉग सुना होगा या आपने जर्नल भी सुना होगा कि चप्पल जो है कोल्हापुरी चप्पल है ये। सो दिस इज अ ज्योग्राफिकल इंडिकेशन। कुछ जो चप्पलें हैं, कुछ डिजाइन है जो वो कोल्हापुर में मिलेगा। ठीक है, ट्रेडमार्क हो गया। इसका जो फॉर्मूला है जिससे जिससे ये बना हुआ ड्रिंक, जिस मिक्सचर से, जिस कॉम्पोजिशन से ये बना हुआ है, उसको आप ट्रेड सीक्रेट बोल सकते हो। प्लीज म्यूट योरसेल्फ। यस, this bottle again is a patent. Fine. Tirupati Laddu. You might have heard of this famous temple in South India, Tirupati Balaji. तो तिरुपति बालाजी में लड्डू बनते हैं और वो एक स्पेशल लड्डू होता है। तो वो भी एक क्या है, बेसिकली ज्योग्राफिकल इंडिकेशन है। तो आप किसी भी लड्डू को तिरुपति लड्डू कह के नहीं बेच सकते। अगर मैं कहूँ कि पंजाब में कोई हलवाई है वो लड्डू बना रहा है, स्वीट मेकर इज मेकिंग सम लड्डू, तो उन लड्डुओं को वो तिरुपति बालाजी लड्डू कह के नहीं बेच सकता, क्योंकि इसका एक्सक्लूसिव जो राइट है वो कहां पे है, तिरुपति में है। ये पंखा आप देखो, फैन अलोंग विद द लाइट, सो दिस इज अ इंडस्ट्रियल डिजाइन onto which you have the exclusive right. So any query guys, please you can ask. आप में से किसी को क्वेरी हो अभी इंट्रोडक्टरी पार्ट में, तो प्लीज यू कैन आस्क, और यू कैन टाइप इन द चैट बॉक्स आल्सो. I will be reading queries from there and will be responding to this. Yes guys, किसी की क्वेरी हो?
Students, if any queries, please ask.
This is what we call as the introductory part of intellectual property rights. We have talked about 5 things and now we will be going into the detail of each one of this intellectual property. पेटेंट क्या होते हैं और कैसे इसको रजिस्टर किया जा सकता है, इंडस्ट्रियल डिजाइन्स, कॉपीराइट्स, geographical indications, trademarks. So we will be discussing all these points one by one. अगर आप intellectual property rights की बात करते हो, the one and the foremost important thing into this is creativity and innovativeness. आप उसी चीज का इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी राइट ले सकोगे जिसमें कुछ इनोवेटिवनेस हो, जिसमें कुछ क्रिएटिविटी हो, which is going to be the out of the world, which is not existing, which is a new invention, which is a new innovativeness. मान लो आप में से कोई कल को एक नया प्रोग्राम डिजाइन करता है, कोई ऐसा सॉफ्टवेयर बनाता है जो वायरसेस को डिटेक्ट करके उनको रिमूव कर देता है सिस्टम से, एंड दैट इज वेरी इफेक्टिव. सो यू आर हैविंग अ राइट टू गेट दैट पर्टिकुलर सॉफ्टवेयर रजिस्टर्ड इन योर नेम. Tomorrow, suppose somebody comes with a medicine, a cure for cancer. तो उस मेडिसिन को आप अपने नाम पे रजिस्टर करवा सकते हो, उसका पेटेंट ले सकते हो। तो कल को अगर कोई कंपनी इस मेडिसिन को मैन्युफैक्चर करना चाहेगी तो उस कंपनी को आपसे पहले परमिशन लेनी पड़ेगी कि कैन वी डू इट। और आप इस इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी को क्या कर सकते हो, उसको सेल भी कर सकते हो। आप बोल सकते हो कि यस, इफ यू वांट टू मेक इट यू विल हैव टू परचेज इट, मेरे को इतने पैसे चाहिए, दिस इज हाउ मच कमर्शियल वैल्यू और इकोनॉमिक वैल्यू आई वांट, you pay me that, I will give the rights to you. मैं आपको थोड़ा सा एक इनोवेटिवनेस के ऊपर ना एक वीडियो दिखाता हूँ, ठीक है? आई एम श्योर यू विल एंजॉय दैट. So this particular video is going to tell you a lot about इनोवेटिवनेस, क्रिएटिविटी, किस किस चीज का पेटेंट आप ले सकते हो. So this is a video of Israeli professor called as Professor Oded. So he is giving a very beautiful TED talk in Japan where he is sharing his research. और उस रिसर्च के अंदर you will see there are lot many things about which he is talking. And time and again I have emphasized on two words. One is creativity, innovation, invention. So what do you basically mean by that? And how it comes to existence? In which way you should think? उसको सोचना भी कैसे है, कौन सा आइडिया कैसे लेके आना है. You will learn a lot immensely out of this video. Yes guys, is my screen visible to all? Yes, मेरी स्क्रीन विजिबल है सबको?
Yes, sir.
एंड वीडियो का साउंड आ रहा है सबको? कैन यू हियर इट एज वेल? यस
Sir, please play the video, sir. Then we will say that.
या कैन यू हियर इट?
No, sir.
ओके,
No,
नाउ यस, कैन यू हियर इट?
no, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir. Sound.
Okay. Okay, just give me a second, I'll try to now.
Okay, sir.
Is it fine now? Can you hear it now?
Thank you very much.
Yes, आपको सुनाई दे रहा है वीडियो साथ में?
Yes, sir. Yes, सुनाई दे रहा है. Yes.
Okay, okay. Please enjoy this video and you will learn immensely out of it.
Well, 200 years of modern science and industrial revolution, we have to admit that our performance is not that great. The machines we build continue to suffer from mechanical failures. The houses we build do not survive severe earthquakes. Yet we shouldn't be so critical about our scientists for a simple reason. We didn't have much time. 200 years is not enough time to make perfect materials, while nature had 3 billion years to develop some of the most amazing materials that we wish we had in our possession. Remember, these materials have a quality assurance of 3 billion years, and that's amazing. Take, for example, sequoia trees. They carry hundreds of tons for hundreds of years in cold weather, in sun, UV light. Yet, if you look into the structure of this tree by high-resolution electron microscopy and ask yourself, what is it really made of? Surprisingly, it's made of sugar. Yes, the same sugar, the same sugar we use in our tea. Well, not exactly. It's actually a polymer of that sugar that is called cellulose. Well, not even that. It's actually a nanofiber made of cellulose, which is about 400 nanometer in length and about 5 to 10 nanometer in width. And the most amazing thing about this material is that it is so strong, on a weight basis, it is 10 times stronger than steel. Yet, it's made of sugar. So, scientists all over the world for the last 10 years believe that nanocellulose is going to be one of the most important nanomaterials for the entire industry. But here's the problem. Say you want to buy half a ton of nanocellulose to build a boat or an airplane. Well, you can Google, you can eBay, you can even Alibaba. You won't find it. Well, of course, you're going to find thousands of papers of scientists saying how wonderful this material, but no commercial source. So about 7 years ago, we at the Hebrew University, together with our partners from Sweden, decided to develop a cost-effective industrial scale method and process to make nanocellulose. And of course, we didn't want to cut trees, so we were looking for another alternative source of raw material, and we found one, which is the sludge of the paper industry. And the reason is there is a lot of that. In fact, Europe alone makes 12 million tons of that sludge annually. This is the equivalent of a mountain 3 kilometers high sitting on a soccer field, and we produce this mountain in Europe every year. So for everybody, it's an environmental problem. For us, it's a gold mine. So today in Israel, we established a company together with our Swedish partners, and these days we are producing on industrial scale in Israel nanocellulose for the first time. And in fact, these days, the second factory, which is slightly larger, it's a ship that you can build in the desert, all made of nanocellulose. Well, nature actually didn't stop its wonders in the plant kingdom. Take, for example, in the insect kingdom, cat fleas. Cat fleas have this wonderful ability to jump about 100 times their height. This is quite remarkable. In fact, it's the equivalent of a person standing in the middle of Liberty Island in New York, and in a single jump, go to the top of the Statue of Liberty. So this is great, and I'm sure everybody would like to have this performance, and the question is, how cat fleas do it? It turns out that during evolution, they've been able to develop this wonderful protein, which is called resilin. Resilin, in simple words, is the most elastic material on Earth. Actually, the best rubber, I can say. You can stretch it, you can squish it, and it doesn't lose almost any energy to the environment. And once we release it, snap, it brings back all the energy. So I'm sure everybody would like to have resilin, but here's the problem. Cat fleas are jumpy, so it's very difficult to catch them. But it's actually enough to catch one. And now, all you have to do is to extract the DNA of that cat flea, clone the gene that encodes for the resilin in a less jumpy organism, like a plant or E. coli. And that's exactly what we did. So now we have the ability to produce lots of resilin, and we can do a lot of things with that. Well, my team at the university decided to do something really cool. They decided to try and combine the strongest material produced by the plant kingdom, the nanocellulose, with the most elastic material produced in the insect kingdom, the resilin. And the end result is quite amazing material, and in fact, enable us to make extremely strong films, which are tough, elastic, and transparent. So what can you do with that? A lot of things. You know, sport shoes, next generation sport shoes that will enable us to jump higher, run faster. And in fact, lots of other things, like for example, touchscreens. Touchscreens that will be strong and will not break so easily as they often happen today. Well, our doctors continue to screw and glue medical implants made of synthetic materials in our body. And I'm going to say that this is not a good idea. Why? Because they fail. They fail just like this plastic fork, because it's not strong enough, but sometimes they are too strong, and in fact their mechanical properties do not really fit the surrounding tissues. But the reason is actually much more fundamental. The reason is that in nature, things are done totally differently. In nature, there is no one that takes my head and screw it into my neck, or take my skin and glue it onto my body. In nature, everything is self-assembled and developed. Every living cell, whether coming from a plant, insect, or human being, has a DNA. And the DNA encodes for nanobio building blocks. Many times there are proteins, other times there are enzymes that make other materials like polysaccharides, fatty acids. But the one common thing about all these nanobio building blocks is that they need no one. They recognize each other, and they have the ability to self-assemble into structures, scaffolds on which cells are growing, proliferating, develop into tissues that together makes the organs, and together brings life. So 10 years ago, we decided at Hebrew University, in my lab, to focus on probably the most important nanobio building block for us, for human, which is collagen. Why collagen? Because collagen accounts for about 25% of our dry weight. Other than water, we have nothing more than collagen. Give you a few examples. Bone. Bone is about 50% collagen, 50% mineral. Our skin about 70% collagen. Tendons and ligaments close to 100% collagen. So I always like to say that anyone who is in the business of replacing parts for human being would like to have collagen. Well, admittedly, even before we started 10 years ago, there were already on the market more than 1,000 medical implants that are made of collagen. For example, this dermal filler to reduce wrinkles and augment lips. Other more sophisticated implants like heart valves, for example. So where's the problem? I just told you that they were already there. Well, here's the problem. The source. The source of all this collagen is dead bodies. Dead pigs, dead cows, and even human cadaver. So risk is a big factor, but it's not the only one. Also the quality. Now here I have a personal interest. This is my father, Tzvi Shoseo, in our winery. 7 years ago, a heart valve, similar to the one I just showed you, was implanted in his body. Now, the medical literature say that these heart valves start to fail 10 years after the operation. No wonder. They are made of old, used, dead tissue. Just like this wall made of bricks that are falling apart. Yes, of course, we can take those bricks and build a new wall, but it's not going to be the same. And in fact, the FDA in 2007 already made a notice and a warning asking the companies to start and look for better alternatives. And that's exactly what we did. We decided to clone all the 5 human genes that are responsible for making type 1 collagen in human into a plant, into a tobacco plant. So that's exactly what we did. We in fact isolated all the 5 human genes and cloned them into a single tobacco plant. Now you may ask me, why tobacco, a plant with such a bad reputation? Well, there are many reasons. First of all, tobacco do not, just like any other plant, do not transfer human pathogens. But in addition to that, it is not in the food and the feed chain. So it's much more safe to introduce human genes into that plant. And furthermore, we can grow it all year round. So we can supply the factory with fresh leaves with collagen. brand new collagen. So today in Israel, we have on a commercial scale 25,000 square meters of greenhouses all over the country. From the Golan Heights, in the Upper Galilee, in the middle of the country, in Hatzeva, in the Arava, and most recently, even in the Jordan Valley, where the farmers receive these small plantlets of tobacco that look exactly like a regular tobacco, except that they have 5 human genes, which are responsible for making type 1 collagen. We grow the plants for about 50 to 70 days, depending on the time of the year, harvest the leaves, and the leaves are then transported by cooling trucks to the factory to extract the brand new collagen. And the process goes like that. If you ever seen or ever made a pesto, it's essentially the same thing. You crush the leaves, you get the juice with the collagen, concentrate the protein. The protein is then transported into clean rooms where we do the final purification, from which we make different medical implants. And in fact, today, we have already one product that is already on the market, approved in Europe, which is a flowable gel for diabetic foot ulcer. And we are also developing other products like bone void filler, another product which is now actually for tendon repair for tendonitis, which is in the middle of clinical trials in 3 centers in Israel, including Hadassah. So guys, I'm not talking about science fiction. This is happening today. In fact, more recently, we've been able to extrude, using textile methods, collagen fibers which are 6 times stronger than Achilles tendon. So together with our collaborators from Ireland, we decided to do something really cool. Remember the resin? We decided to combine now the resin from the insect with the collagen fibers. And the result is amazing. In fact, we've been able to make a super collagen fiber with only 5% resin that is about 300%, 380% more tough, and 100% more elastic. So oddly enough, in the future, when we will make artificial tendons and ligaments from that material, the patient that will receive that implant will have better performance after the surgery than he had before the injury. So what's for the future? We believe that in the future we'll be able to produce all the different nanobio building blocks that nature provided to us, like collagen, resin, nanocellulose, and many others. That will enable us to make better machines, and even heart. Now this heart is not going to be the same as we can get from a donor. It will be better. It will perform better and will last longer. And I'm going to summarize by quoting a good friend of mine, Sion Suleiman, who once told me this smart sentence. He said, if you want a new idea, you should open an old book. And I'm going to say that the book was written. The book was written over 3 billion years of evolution. And the text is the DNA of life. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. All we have to do is read that text and embrace nature's gift to us. Thank you.
Yes, guys. Hope you might have seen the video in detail. Yes. Any intakes onto the same? Come on, guys, please respond. Yes. Yes, please respond.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please. Am I audible, guys? Can you hear me? Okay, fine. Now, let me take you back to the PPT part, where we have discussed about the intellectual property, what it is and what are the things available for us. Now, we'll be sharing this. Now see this. Now, when we talk about the first thing into the same, it is called as patents. Now, what is patent? Patent basically gives you the exclusive right so that others can be prevented from possessing, using, selling, manufacturing, and importing the patented invention. And it gives you the exclusive right in that particular geographical area. Please remember, whatever intellectual property rights I will be discussing, these all are territorially restricted. Point here. That means if you are getting a patent of a thing in India, you won't be able to enforce it outside India. So patents have territorial jurisdiction. We have to register the patents in all the countries where we have our interest. It doesn't mean that if you are getting the patent registered in India, you will get the exclusive rights in China as well. If you want to have the exclusive rights in China as well, then you will have to move the separate application in China to get the patent. Fine. So patent application can be filled online in India by inventor or his assignee on www.ipindia.nic.in. Now, the form is quite lengthy, so you need and require the services of the attorney. The fee is 1,600 rupees for the individuals and 8,000 rupees for the corporates. And form 1 is there, which can be used to get the patent filed. Now, what patent will do? Patent will give you the exclusive monopoly right. So these are the important things which you need to keep into mind when you are filing the patent. It is granted by Government of India. It is for an invention, something new which you are finding out, to the inventor or his assignee. So it will be given in your name. It is a territorial right. We have already explained that it is going to give you exclusive rights in India only. If you want to get the rights in some other country also, then you have to make and move a separate application. Fine. So you have to disclose the invention to the government. It doesn't mean that you say that I will not be disclosing the invention to them. You will have to disclose the invention to them. Only after you disclose the invention to them, they will give you the patent. And it is given for a term of 20 years from the date of file. Now, again, we have discussed this, that there are 4 patent offices in India at Kolkata, Delhi, Mumbai, and Chennai. So these patent offices, they will receive your application, and accordingly you will be granted patent after verification. So there is a process which you need to follow, fine? And you can get the national, regional, and international protection as well. I've already told you that you basically have to move separate application, and novelty needs to be there in the thing which you are getting patented. Fine. It must be an inventive step, not a obvious one, and it must be capable of industrial, application. And there are certain things on which patents are not given in India, like atomic energy related patents are not given. And these should not be injurious to health. It must be a discovery of some scientific principle. A program and all these things can be taken up as a patent. Now I will show you a patent form, that how a patent form is to be filled if you are having some invention. So this is called as PI form, patent information extraction form. So we'll be discussing that with you, and it will give you a lot of knowledge on how to file the form and get the patent registered in your name. So this is a PI form, which is called as patent information extraction form. So this is basically my patent, which I filed. Now, what basically it is, let me tell you, it is basically a patent which helps out in water purification. I, along with my few partners, we formed a company called as Losh Healthcare Private Limited. And under this, we are making, tablets which are going to purify the water and are going to target the base of the pyramid. Now, to get those tablets exclusively registered by our name, we have filed these patents. So the principal applicant is Chitkara University, where I am working right now. So they will be bearing all the expenses for the same. So power of authority is with Chitkara University regarding the same. So Sapna Kumari, she is from pharmacy. Dr. Anju Goel, Dr. Sandhir Sharma, Dr. Dinesh Tandon, which is me, Dr. Deepak Sood. So we as a team of 5 people have filed this patent, fine, and we have given our information. So these are the sheets which you need to attach with the patent form. What was the problem? Fine. So we defined that this was basically the problem. And how did you solve it? Inventive step, क्या नया किया आपने? तो वो हमने सारा रीड लिख के उनको बताया कि this is what we have done. तो हमने seeds लिए हैं, watermelon seeds लिए, watermelon seeds को हमने उसके अंदर extraction वगैरह डाल के, so we have made and converted that into a water purification solution. Fine. What were the other possible solutions and why they could not be done? आपने जो वाटर प्यूरिफिकेशन किया, आपका इनोवेटिव कैसे था? हमने बताया कि मडी वाटर को भी कर देता है, कलर भी ठीक कर देगा. So other solutions won't be doing it. What are the advantages of the solution proposed by you? Fine, we have explained to them. So explain the stepwise working of innovation, explaining all the components used in the invention and specific functions they are performing. So this is what, as a process, we have explained that there is a watermelon. So these are the seeds. We will make the powder and we will add some, compositions to that. And accordingly, we will be getting a solution which is going to purify the water. And this is the composition written, that watermelon seed powder and what other things we will be adding. And this is how the composition of tablet is going to be there. Fine. Clear? Preparation method is there. How we are going to make it. Fine. Practical size, bulk density. तो ये सारी जो भी हमने testing की थी उसकी. So these all are the results of the same. Procedure for water purifier. Results and discussions हमने करके दिखाया उनको सारा. So it is based more or less likely a research paper. So we told them how it is to be done, what will be done, and after that, examination, and after the examination, what will happen? They will be making it public. If anybody will be having any objections, they will let them know and we will try to answer them, and after that we will be granted the patent. So this particular process, it takes around 3 to 5 years. So getting a patent is not an easy task. You need to have so many formalities done before you finally take on to this thing. I am hope that the things are clear. Now let's move ahead. Let me share my screen with you. The second point which we are going to cover up is going to be about, industrial design. Now, these are ornamental or aesthetic aspects of a useful article of the industry. Aspects that give special appearance. We have already talked about that, and I have shown you a bottle also. So when you add a different dimension, you add a different features, you create a design which is unique in the sense nobody else is using it into the market. So you will get the industrial design for this. Now you see this. So this is a chair. So you can see this is a special chair having some unique design in itself. So this particular chair is an industrial design. Now see this car. This is Ferrari or Lamborghini. So this is having a unique design in itself. So you can see these clothes. Fine. So these are also having the different or unique thing. So protection normally is given for 10 years. And after that, you have to renew it. So in total, it is for 15 years. So nobody else will be able to make a chair like this. So this is basically an industrial design. Maybe you are making certain molds like this. Maybe you are coming up with a new phone, which is having a unique design, maybe having a camera on the side, maybe having a camera in, different shape. Fine, maybe it get folded, maybe having screen on both the sides of the, mobile phone. So this is what gives you the unique design. So these designs, industrial designs, can also be patented. Maybe a laptop in which you are working. So it might be of different shape, might not be having keypad, might be keypad is virtual, something like, if you can add to the already available design into the market, so you can get it registered with the authorities and get the exclusive rights over it in terms of commercialization of this. Now there is a trademark as well. Now what is a trademark? It is basically a brand or a logo. Right? So a visual symbol which may be word, signature, name, device, label, numerals, or combination of colors used by one undertaking on goods or services or the other articles of commerce to distinguish it from other similar goods or services originating from different undertakings. So trademark basically is a brand, is a logo. So whatever you see all around you is nothing. It is basically a brand or a logo. So this will, give you a distinct identity. So this sign is capable of distinguishing the goods or services of one enterprise from those of others. Right? Like, you might see lot many brands into the market. Cello, they are having a different logo. Favicol, they are having a different logo. Taj Mahal, they are having a different logo. Britannia having a different logo. So all these things are what? These are called as trademarks. So all sorts of signs may be used as trademarks. Words, letters, numbers, symbols, color, pictures, three-dimensional signs, such as shapes, packaging, holograms, sounds, even, taste and smells. Getting my thing or no? You might have heard a lot many times the Apple, ringtone. So that is also a trademark. So to be eligible for registration, the basic principle is that the trademark must be distinctive. So it cannot just be a generic description of the product or service, nor can it be identical to a trademark already registered or used for that type of product or service. Trademarks are not just used to identify the goods and services of a particular enterprise, they are also collective marks, each owned by an association and used by its member. For example, professional associations of accountants, engineers, architects often use the kinds of mark. आपने देखा होगा चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट का एक डिफरेंट मार्क होता है, वो टिक लगा होता है. So that particular tick is a trademark of ICAI. And there are certifications, marks which show that a product or service complies with certain standards, such as eco labels for products with reduced environmental impacts. So you can get them registered. So this is few example of trademarks. So Darjeeling tea is basically a geographical indicator, but again, the lady having a leaf in the hand is a trademark. So product or service, आप देख सकते हो 3 colors in round shape. This is a trademark. Whenever your product get ISI certified, so this kind of a logo can be used. This is again a trademark. Cambridge University Press, the collective, and logo of Apple. So these all are the trademarks. I will show you a few more examples of the same. You can see. So this shape, this is a name. Symbol can also be trademarked. I'm loving it. Slogan, color orange. This is again a brand. Orange is a brand basically. So as you can see, TM is written. So this basically symbolizes that trademark has been taken. Logo type, you see this type of a logo is a Volkswagen car. So this is also a trademark. Similarly, Maruti Suzuki, Hyundai, BMW, Mercedes, they all are using some kind of a trademark. Fine. So these are few of the examples. Now, this is what we call as trademarks distinctiveness spectrum. Now, if your product is not distinctive, if the name is generic one, yes, it is going to have a strong distinctiveness. So what happens, that distinctiveness can be protected. Like agar main bolu Xerox, so anybody can write Xerox, because Xerox is a journal name. Aspirin, so aspirin is basically a journal thing, a journal medicine. So anybody can use it because this is not so very distinctive. So it is having weak distinctive spectrum. So the protection of this particular trademark, if you get it, it is going to be quite difficult to get it protected. Whereas if you are having a strong, like Apple is there, Starbucks is there, Adidas, Kodak, they are having strong, so that others cannot copy it. So when you have a strong distinctiveness, so it makes you unique in the market and other people won't be able to copy it easily. So you have to see that on which level of this trademark distinctiveness spectrum my logo is there, my trademark is there, and try to be on the right hand side as much you can, because this is going to give you a distinctiveness, and this distinctiveness is going to give you the protection. Right? The next one is the copyright. So copyright is a legal term describing rights given to the creator for their literary and artistic work. Right? So what it includes novels, right? It includes poems, and plays, reference works, newspapers, articles, computer programs, databases, films, musical compositions, dance and theatrical productions, artistic works, painting, drawings, photographs, sculptures, architecture, advertisement, maps, technical drawings, manuals. Fine. So copyright covers an enormous range of works. Fine. There are also rights related to copyright of the creator that protects the interest of those closely associated with the copyrighted work, including performers, broadcasters, and producers of the sound recordings. Copyright is protected by a mixture of national and international laws. These recognize the cultural and social importance of creative endeavors as well as its considerable economic value. Right? So copyright applies. So copyright, applies to creative expression of ideas in many different forms. We have already discussed those distinctive forms: novels, poems, reference works. Right? So it will give you, economic, monetary, and moral rights. Right? So you can control the distribution of a work, that who can use it, who cannot use it. You can naturally transfer and trade the copyrights. You can give it, sell it to the others so that they can, copy it and sell it to the others. And naturally, you will be getting some royalty or rent or whatsoever it is for selling that copyright. Now, this is one such very remarkable thing about the copyright. I've told you in the beginning as well that in India, you get the copyright for 60 years. In USA and Europe, this is for 70 years. And in most of the other countries, it is for 50 years. Now, what happens? Now, for example, you have created a song. Fine. And you got it registered in your name. You got the copyright of the same. Now, in case you die, or the artist in whose name the copyright was there, he dies, what will happen? The copyright will get transferred to the legal heirs and they will be able to enjoy the rights for next 60 years after the death of the artist. Right? So 60 years from the beginning of the calendar year, next following year, which the author dies. उसकी डेथ होने के बाद 60 साल तक उस लिटरेरी काम का, उस आर्टिस्टिक वर्क का बेनिफिट जो जनरेशन है नेक्स्ट, दे कैन अवेल. एंड last one is called as GIs, which are called as geographical indicators. GIs identify agricultural, natural, or manufactured goods associated with a territory, region, or locality. GI gives protection to group of people or associations involved in the production of product using traditional skills and knowledge. The manufactured goods should be produced or processed or prepared in that environment, in that territory. This gives a special quality to the product due to its geographical, climate, environment, reputation, specific manufacturing and farming skills, traditions, and other characteristics attributable to the origin. इसकी कुछ फेमस एग्जांपल्स हैं, जैसे दार्जिलिंग टी, कांचीपुरम साड़ी, कोल्हापुरी चप्पल, तिरुपति लड्डू, नागपुर के ऑरेंज, so etc etc. So you can see, so basmati rice. So basmati rice is a rice which is basically related to some area. So basmati rice is not produced everywhere. So there is a specific area of Punjab, Haryana, and Himachal where this particular variety of rice is grown. So if you are producing rice in, for example, Jharkhand or down the south, you cannot claim and sell that rice as a basmati rice. Because to be qualified as a basmati rice, you need certain geography and region, and that particular geography and region is what? Punjab, Himachal, and Haryana. And you might have seen this famous case study where we were having this dispute with USA over to basmati rice, and we took this matter to the international court, where India won the rights of over geographical indication to be called as a basmati rice. Similarly, Darjeeling tea is one such example. So every tea cannot be claimed to be a Darjeeling tea. Fine. So this is again a particular area, Darjeeling, where this special type of tea is grown, and this can be exclusively marketed based on the right you have obtained under the geographical indications. I was discussing with you the Tirupati Laddu. So Tirupati Laddu is basically a prasad of Lord Tirupati Balaji. And there is a unique thing, there is a unique feature about this Laddu, there is a unique preparation of this Laddu. So every sweet maker cannot make laddus and claim them to be of Tirupati Laddu. Tirupati basically is a place. So this Laddu is of Tirupati, and that's why it has got that geographical indication from the Indian Patent Office. So others cannot sell a laddu by making a similar laddu to this particular one, which you can see on the picture, and claim that to be a Tirupati laddu. Similarly, there is a very famous, shawl made of some special material called as pashmina. So pashmina is a special shawl which is from Kashmir region. So if some shawl is being manufactured in Ludhiana, you cannot claim that shawl to be a pashmina, because pashmina is basically associated with a particular geographical area, which is Kashmir. Similarly, Bikaneri bhujia, Agra ka petha, Kolhapuri chappal, Nagpur oranges, Alfonso mango. So these all are geographical indications. So others cannot, claim them to be their own and sell the product by claiming them to be one of these. So a geographical indication is a sign used on product that have a specific geographical origin. अगर मैं बोलता हूं दार्जिलिंग टी, इसका मतलब कि हाँ वाकई ये चाय दार्जिलिंग से आई है, उस पर्टिकुलर ज्योग्राफिकल एरिया, उस पर्टिकुलर ज्योग्राफी में इसका ओरिजिन हुआ, एंड इट पोजेसेस द क्वालिटी एंड रेपुटेशन ऑफ दैट एरिया बिकॉज इट हैज ओरिजिनेटेड इन दैट एरिया. फाइन, क्लियर? जैसे इटालियन पिज्जा. So this is again a geographical indication. So consumers buying products with geographical indications want to know that the goods do indeed come from the place in question and conform to relevant standards. So there need to be some control on the use of geographical indications to protect their valuable reputation. So I will show you one certificate. This is a geographical indicator registry. So if you want to get the geographical indicator registry, so this is the certificate which is issued by government of India for geographical indications. So you have to apply for that, and after due verification a certificate will be granted by one of such authorities which we discussed previously over here. This. So there is a geographical indication registry which is in Chennai. So So you have to move the application to them, and they will give you and allot you that only after the satisfaction and due verification. Similarly, if you want to get the trademark registered, so these are the 5 cities where the offices are there. You can make an online application, and accordingly you will be granted the trademark registry. And the last one is the patent and design office. This is at these 4 prominent places where if you will move an application, so they will grant you the patent. And how to file a patent, I will once again share the PI form with you, which I have just shown to you, so that you can get the idea that how basically you can file the patent with the authorities to get that registered in your name. Please see to it. Now, this is one of the PI forms which I filed last year to get the patent, because we were having our own venture called as Losh Healthcare Private Limited. उसके अंदर हमने एक फॉर्मूला डेवलप किया था. So चितकारा यूनिवर्सिटी का है ये. Main applicant, principal applicant is my university. Or inventors में we are 5 partners, and this is my name, Dr. Dinesh Tandon. So this is basically about watermelon seeds. So we are using watermelon seeds to purify the water. So my Losh Healthcare Private Limited, which is my own venture, which is my company. So basically what we are doing there, we are trying to find the low cost based water solutions. So we are making tablets so that they can purify the water, because everybody cannot afford a water purifier. So for base of the pyramid people we are targeting. So this is how we filed this patent, and it's been a year, and very soon I hope so that we will be given the grant of the same after the examination by the office. So this was the problem, that contaminated water was the problem, and lot of calcium and magnesium is there, and the water is hard. So using these tablets we can make it. So this is the second question we replied, that how did you solve it